Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the most recent episode of this Committee Reads Halloween special. I am your host, KaijuX. I am joined by other fellow readers like Grayshot, Joe, and Alex. Nagoda is not here right now because of family matters
He
or
died.
whatever.
Out
Oh.
of all the souls I have met, he was the most human.
Yes, very much so. And today we have another fanfiction from fanfiction.net. This one is Yoda versus Godzilla. And its description says, in which the former violently lobotomizes the latter. We will see exactly where this goes in just a beautiful moment. Let's begin.
Yoda lobotomizes Godzilla.
One typical blockbuster movie day in the bustling metropolis of Tokyo, Godzilla was rampaging. Oh gosh, blockbuster movie day in the. Oh my goodness, this ought to be good. Godzilla was rampaging around, destroying buildings for no apparent reason, while helicopters, airplanes, and tanks bombarded him.
Bombarded.
It sounds like they're trying to start a bonfire, except they're barding it from all directions, as always, except for one very important detail, which would be the fact that Yoda from Star Wars had suddenly appeared out of nowhere through some sort of inter-universal wormhole to challenge him. Oh
Wow,
my god.
what a run-on sentence.
Yes.
Also, not to be confused with Yoda from Star Trek.
God.
Stop threatening the well-being of humanity. You must destroy you in whatever way the space gods see fit. I must.
Yoda looked up at Godzilla, who immediately looked straight down at him to meet his gaze, naturally, and yelled irritatedly at him, cringing in disgust at the innumerable amount of destroyed vehicles and buildings surrounding him as Godzilla angrily brought his overpoweringly massive foot down on him, resulting in a nice big satisfying splat with the need of more commas.
What an utterly powerless fool.
Godzilla thought to himself, examining the beautifully wrinkled sole of his left foot and
Uproariously?
Yeah,
What?
I'm pretty sure he made up a word. I am 90% sure this is fake.
Oh, that's a word.
Uproariously.
That's a word.
I think
It's a word.
It's a word?
I just looked up. Yep. Categorized by or in a state of uproar.
Oh, okay, I can see that now. Uproar. Yeah, I can see that now. Uproariously laughing at this huge, bright green fake Yoda splotch on his arc as the real Yoda promptly clambered up onto the back of HS right heel, that beautiful heel of his, and began stealthily climbing his way up Godzilla's backside like a pesky green ant.
One note, where did he get the fake Yoda from?
Good freaking question.
Thick skin you have, but unfortunately far too thick to notice my Jedi cloning trick. Your skull evidently is.
Jedi cloning trick. Go on, please.
Gotcha. The best Star Trek technique. Anyway, Yoda thought amusingly to himself with a condescending smirk, making his way gradually up. Makes sense. Godzilla's legs as the unfathomable, a massive beast.
Unfathomably.
Yeah, unfathomable massive beast stormed around, crushing countless army tanks underneath his gargantuan feet.
The butt of many humiliating jokes. Once I'm through with you, you are most definitely going to be.
Yoda thought increasingly angrily to himself.
Who wrote this?
Who's the author? Xander Martin 98. I completely forgot to mention the author. Xander Martin 98 wrote this.
Don't send him hate mail, Wish, or loving mail after you read this.
He has 98 in his name.
Yes.
That explains it all.
Yes.
I'm triggered.
Yeah. Zonebird triggered. Anyway. Yoda thought increasedly angrily to himself, scrambling his way up the left one of Godzilla's incredibly firm and scaly buttocks.
Please continue, Kaiju X. It only gets better.
And
Great shot's right. It only gets more sexy.
And past his suffocatingly tight and wrinkly tail hole.
You mean his backside?
Tail hole. Oh my. What? Tail hole.
It even gets better.
Just as the beast started taking a brief 5-second break from the action to scratch his sexy
Please continue and finish this glorious sentence.
I might die at this rate, but I'll try. To scratch his sexy, beautiful bottom while the pilots surrounding him hypnotically drooled and found in amazement. What the heck?
Turned on I am. Unexpectedly back in action, Yoda is.
Yoda thought intently to himself as he began passionately scaling Godzilla's immaculate, I-M-A-C-C-U-L...
Immaculately?
Yeah, it's... Oh, wait, immaculately. Oh, never mind. Wait. I thought that's... Never mind. Forget it. Immaculately smooth and sculpted back. Taking great care to avoid the spikes in the middle of it while the monster grabbed not one but 2 fighter jets right out of the sky and ate them one after the other. Just like how Americans eat fried chicken drumsticks.
I don't know if that's offensive to Americans or fighter jets. I'm on the balance with both.
Where things finally come to an incredibly satisfying end. This is.
Oh yeah, past a gray shot. You take 6 into take.
Yoda cackled internally and somewhat evilly to himself as he climbed his way up the side of Godzilla's neck and hastily slithered apparently, Yoda does, his way up into the woefully unaware beast's right ear hole while Godzilla was busy roaring his ever-loving head off, shattering all of the windows of every vehicle and building around him, and luckily providing just enough sound cover for Yoda setting barefoot in one of his hearing tunnels to surprisingly go unnoticed for the time being. He's like a foot tall. Like, I think he can travel pretty quickly and pretty silently.
Absolutely no idea I'm in here. He has. Perfect this is.
Yoda thought maliciously to himself, rubbing his grubby old space alien hands together like a fly and using his totally not blatantly made up on the spot force night vision power.
Even though he could just use his lightsaber.
To light the way as he quietly tiptoed his way through the fleshy, hair-forested and eternal surface of Godzilla's shockingly clean and spacious auditory canal. Holy crap, and it keeps going.
This is a goddamn run-on sentence.
Admiring the numerous, incredibly fascinating species of alien insect that had gotten stuck in neatly formed cube-shaped clumps of the obvious space monsters.
Oblivious.
space monster's earwax while the beast was busy blowing up the legendary Rainbow Bridge with atomic laser breath beam.
That was the longest freaking sentence I have seen in a while.
That is a work of art.
That puts your story to shame.
I know.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, pass me.
Mere child's play for me,
Also,
this is.
I just want to make note. So apparently this Godzilla is from space, so obviously Space Godzilla. And
Roseanne?
yes, possibly. It said he was from space. Roseanne was from Earth, who went to space.
No. Roseanne's from space. Like, she was from Planet Godzilla.
Oh, right. Forgot about that. Any case. Sorry, continue. Alex?
I just read.
Oh, sorry. Yoda...
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't hear you. Yoda thought somewhat arrogantly to himself as he promptly reached Godzilla's incredibly shiny and sensitive tympanic membrane. Someone looked up Wikipedia for this.
Yeah, eardrum.
Yeah, exactly. Using his unbelievably power force telekinesis to painlessly bend the bottom of the eardrum backward, providing the little green mastermind with the perfect size crawl space to slither his way through into the even more delicate and sensitive internal workings of Godzilla's inner ear, while the beast became profoundly suspicious of his recent auditory intruder's presence and began rudely digging and twisting his right finger into his respective ear hole to flush the bug out.
I can only imagine. Am I the only one now wanting to see Yoda's head on a snake's body?
Does anyone else think that this isn't Godzilla? This is like a bipedal humanoid Godzilla that everyone's calling Godzilla? Because apparently he can look at the bottom of his heel, which, by the way, with those thighs, there's no way he could do it. There's no way.
Looks like it really was nothing after all.
Internally to himself as he fished out a nice big clump of assorted wax-coated bugs from his ear and ate them. With Yoda actually beginning to hear the monster's thoughts emanating from deep inside his relatively small head as he was dutifully processed through Godzilla's semicular canals and cocula, causing the beast to embarrassedly dizzily stumble back and forth naturally, before finally being ejected out into the control room of the blissfully unaware monstrosity's deceptively colossal brain, which was predictably housed a massive, profoundly cartoonish supercomputer.
What? The heck are we looking at here?
So we have.
Godzilla?
So you hold up a marble, and that's Godzilla's brain. Then you hold up a human's, like a skull, and that's Kong's. But then you get to this Godzilla, Roseanne, and you just get a supercomputer. Is what I'm...
Yeah, right.
Godzilla is a thinking animal.
Weak and feeble before the pure unbraided might of my force powers reminded.
Yoda cackled devishly to himself as he kneeled down to the wrinkly, spongy, vibrantly pulsating floor of Godzilla's behavioral control center, placed his hand on it, and squinted his eyes tightly shut as a way of using his fabled Jedi mind trick to read the supercomputer's login password directly from the poor, simple-minded creature's memory banks, while he was busy eating buildings like colossal French fries outside.
Exist in your current predicament, privacy does not.
Yoda cackled evilly.
Here come the porn.
Yoda cackled evilly to himself as he fraudulently logged himself into Godzilla's brain using the password, and then, after a brief fap to the blissfully unaware beast's pornographic memories of intense sexual activity with the dreaded large-breasted Godzilla, as well as a slightly less brief making Godzilla humiliatingly dance the solo tango stint, using an advanced form of Jedi mind trick to hack even further into the surprisingly fascinating computer's brain, creature's brain, and unlocked the wrinkly gray door that just so happened to be conspicuously conveniently placed on the back right next to the computer, which the label regenerative core right above it for good measure.
Ah, here it is. Godzilla's precious regenerative core. This is her.
GVZ, you can go. Please pass.
Yoda thought excitedly to himself, unhesitantly drawing out his lightsaber at the spherical, fleshy, pulsating, interconnected between the ceiling and floor and walls, mass of tangled red/blue veins that laid before him as Godzilla concentrated very deeply, and suddenly began to unmistakably feel the legendary Jedi Master's light, and sneaky but still incredibly firm footsteps echoing through his highly advanced central nervous system from immensely deep within the inner workings of his brain. But alas, it was already too late.
Amigo, adios.
Yoda laughed regretfully, shedding several manly tears as he shredded Godzilla's regenerative core into itty bitty little pieces, and severed every single one of his internal brain connection cords with his lightsaber, causing an extremely loud intruder alert alarm to begin ringing in the poor monstrosity's head. When he promptly began clutching and running around in circles in a fit of panic, as Yoda made his way up into Godzilla's neural transit center and prepared himself to deliver the disgustingly violent coup de grace.
Coup de grace.
In order, your practitioner's violent and unprofessionalized lobotomy is...
Yoda began laughing maniacally as he leapt and swung to and fro from wall to wall of Godzilla's now completely defenseless brain, slicing his intricately tangled jungle of neural transmission wires one by one with his lightsaber, before finally traveling straight into the poor bastard's frontal lobe and readying himself to perform the inevitable.
To stick a 1-foot blade into a 200-foot brain? Yeah, please continue.
Need a license to satiate dimension fanfiction writers. Head and shoes and fetish, you clearly do not.
Yoda laughed psychotically as he frantically sharp-clawed scurried about all over the delightfully delicate, fragile, already massively internally bleeding surface of Godzilla's poor, ignorant brain, like the small but horrifically lethal insect he currently was to him, using his lightsaber to violently and virulently shred it to bloody, spongy bits from the inside out of each individual globe, starting with the frontal lobe, a globe, then the parental lobe, then the occipital lobe.
Again, someone really likes Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Or they just like, or they're a doctor.
No doctor is writing this. Let's all be very clear.
You never know, Gray Shot.
But there could be a doctor listening to this right now.
This is true.
Yep. Then finally, the temporal lobe. While the poor defenseless beast loudly shrieked and wailed in pain before finally twirling around on his pointy little tippy toes and collapsing dead onto the metropolitan concrete ground as copious amounts of blood began leaking out of his nose and ears.
Wow, he saw some lewd fan art.
Don't you mean lobe fan art? Oh! Alex.
We can't hear you. Gotta read.
Oh, we even hear you say work all in a days.
Alex, you gotta...
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
No.
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 Work all in a days? Hmm? Is that good
Yoda
enough
both-
for you, fuck?
Yes. Yoda boasted
Fuck yourself, you should.
Yoda boasted anti-heroically, posing gallantly and barefootedly atop what remarkably little was left of Godzilla's brainstem, with his lightsaber held skywardly high in the name of gratuitous goodwill and justice, while his trained droid snapped a photo. would be firmly is engraved into the local and worldwide internet nerd culture headlines for years to come.
And the...
Oh my goodness.
So I'm just gonna say this really quickly. This is how the writer made this. First, he watched a Star Wars movie. Then he watched Godzilla 2014. Then he decided to take some type of drug. And while he was induced, he wrote this.
It could have
Wait,
been.
how do you know it's 2014?
It could have been Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
This thing was published October 6th.
It could have been the original Godzilla.
Wait, this was like, oh my god.
Yeah, at the time we're reading this was posted yesterday. This is literally a brand new, recent, out of the butthole friggin' fanfic.
Yeah, because it wasn't out of the oven, that's for sure.
Oh gosh. Well, at least this one's aware that it is parody, at the very least. Like if you just look at the like where it falls under, the category falls under parody/adventure. It most certainly is a parody adventure. So.
It's the best adventure.
Yes. Yes, it is. One of Yoda going into Godzilla's brain and discovering his personal self by hacking into a supercomputer. So, and Godzilla's also from space, so who knows? Maybe someone read a Space Godzilla and finally wrote this. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Maybe it was from the writer of a Space Godzilla.
Maybe.
Maybe someone listened to our Space Godzilla podcast, or the Space Godzilla reading.
Yeah.
They went mentally insane, and they were like, let's rewrite this.
Yes. Yeah, where Yoda lobotomizes Godzilla. It did not lie. Yoda most certainly did lobotomize
Perfect sense.
Godzilla. So, hey, at the very least, it didn't fail to disappoint. So in that sense, it's actually kind of decent.
Yeah, and it didn't lie to us. Right, King and Queen?
Yeah. Where's Destroyer, huh? I will say, though, it would seem that over the course of this battle, it seems that Yoda is turning to the dark side. So I hope there is a sequel in which we get to see dark side Yoda just be a bad dude. Maybe?
Well, I want to see Yoda join a gang now.
I don't want to see anything. That's what I want to see.
But yeah.
No. The next one's gonna be Yoda versus the KWCC.
Yes. I will try and keep that in mind. Yoda versus the KWCE.
I said CC.
Oh, yeah, that works too. Yoda versus the KWCC. That works too. Alex, any additional thoughts?
I have none.
Okay.
This was probably one of the greatest things ever made.
Second greatest thing. Remember your priorities.
Yep. It's up there with Shrek versus everyone.
There we go.
And
Versus a lot of monsters.
Yes.
This was terrible, but I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is just me in general. I'm a person that really doesn't like cringe, which is why usually for my matches I try to, if I do go for humor, I try to make it smarter humor or like based in context. Like for a match that we read, someone, doing something they've done in a movie except in a little more comical light. In this regard, the detail, the run, I don't find this funny. And this is very much why, again, for the April Fool's Day match that we did, the humor is on what it's said and how a comedic situation is taken in a fully serious light. That's what I find humor from. I don't like I don't like quote unquote just doing random things humor. Like that doesn't appeal to me.
Definitely, I agree with you. That's kind of what I did with the Shrek match, as you remember. There was at least a plot to it. There's something that connected
like
everything.
That had like a story, and yes, it was weird,
but it made sense.
It made sense. Or like the April Fools. These kind of matches, I personally, for me, I don't see the appeal. But I understand why some people, they're just so freaking crazy. They're just like, how can you not laugh at this?
Yeah, I mean, I like to do crazy stuff, but I at least want it to make sense. Again, we kind of have that same opinion on this sort of thing.
Yeah, and Yoda hacking into a computer, climbing up Godzilla, like that kind of, it's just like, what?
That sort of thing feels best fit it feels more best fit under the hands of like the guys who made Airplane or Hot Shots, like visual, like the weird surrealness of seeing this would make it funny, but being told it is kind of another thing. It's just simply the medium. Like if we saw Yoda seeing and going through all of this, it would be hilarious. But
agreed.
We have to imagine what that looks like, and that's admittedly not as funny as it could be. So,
especially with how this is written.
Yeah. So, yeah, honestly, a lot of this I could see being funny. It would just have to be in a visual medium to get the joke across, and preferably like something like film. I think would be able to pull this off very nicely.
Or if it was like a couple minute dumb YouTube video, like an animation sort of thing.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, totally. So, yeah, just something with visual accompaniment would make these sort of very strange, surreal settings funny. But yeah, as it is, it's just simply another like random thing for randomness. I'm sure someone listening to this is going to get a hearty laugh out of this, and if this is your thing, great, that's good. I'm just saying that, if you want this to actually work proper, visualize it, don't write it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
But with that said, this has been Yoda vs. Godzilla, a Godzilla fanfic by Xander Martin 98. And we will see you guys next time for the next episode of this Halloween special week and all that stuff. See you later.